Lesson 4.10, Number Scrolls. Today's learning target is I can create a scroll to write numbers to 100 and beyond. What is a scroll? A scroll is a roll of paper or another material, usually with writing or pictures on it. Some examples might be a list of names, a pull-down screen, like we use here in our classroom, a wall map, or TV or movie credits. Here's some examples of what scrolls look like. These were more commonly used back long ago. They used scrolls like this to deliver messages or to write important things that wanted to be saved or shared with the people of a land. So boys and girls, as we think about our scroll that we're going to be creating, we need to think about a number grid. Our number grid extends in both directions, just like a number line. So today, boys and girls, we are going to use a scroll to extend our number grid past 100. That means we're going to start writing numbers over 100. Right now, boys and girls, we're going to use the number grid that you have in front of you to complete our number grid. This number grid that we have looks identical to ones that we have used in the class to help us with some of our counting activities this year, except for one thing. It's missing all the numbers. That's going to be our job to fill in the numbers. So we already on this grid have filled in the numbers that are negative, that come before 0. So we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, and -9. That's again, like we said, if the temperature is below 0, that's where negative numbers would come in. So basically, boys and girls, we're going to start right here at 0, and the next number that would come would be the number 1. So boys and girls, if we go 0 here, we go all the way over to the other side, just like if we are counting, and we're going to write the number 1. And now on a number grid, we're counting by ones, so we would put the next number as we count up. So we'd go 1, 2. Who can tell me what the next number would be? That's right. The next number would be 3. Let's take time right now just to complete this first row. Do this now. So boys and girls, now that we've completed this, your first row would look like this. Check it as I write in the rest of the numbers. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Check your number grid right now to make sure this is how yours looks. Now let's take a look at the next row. We're starting here with 10, and we're going to think, okay, I'm at 10. What comes next? We go down to our next row, and the number that comes next, of course, is 11. And then, boys and girls, if we add one more to 11, we're going to have the number 12. And if we add one more, we're going to have the number 13. So we're just counting up. We went 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's complete this next row on our own. Okay, boys and girls, now that you've completed that row, let's check our numbers one more time. So now we go 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Check your numbers right now and make sure that you have your scroll or your number grid looking exactly like the one on the screen. Let's stop for a moment and take a look at our number grid. Boys and girls, do any of you notice a pattern at all so far? Or notice anything about this number grid that would help us fill it in or help us to check and make sure that we're filling it in correctly? Okay, boys and girls. So now what we're going to do is continue. And I will fill the rest of this in, and we'll do a check at the end before we move on. Okay, boys and girls, so now I've completed the whole number grid from -9, which they already did, to 100. Take a moment now to take a look and see if you see any patterns or anything that might make it easier to fill out a number grid. Turn and talk right now with your partner about anything you noticed. Wow, boys and girls, I heard lots of different things. I heard kids talking about how they counted by ones and just kept going all the way up to 100, adding one each time, going 21, 22, 23. I heard some kids talk about how they noticed this was the tens pattern, and they went 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I heard some students talk about how they noticed this pattern, that this whole row is fives, and then on this side it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So boys and girls, there's lots of patterns that can make this scroll or number grid easy to read and easy to write. I think we're ready to move on to doing our numbers past 100. Let's take a look at that number grid. Okay, boys and girls, so now we're ready to move on. If we think back to our last number grid, it ended on the number 100. So this number grid is going to start down here with the number 101. That's right. So we're going to start right here in our first one. We're going to go 101. And then what comes after 101 is 102. Who knows what comes next? That's right, 103. Boys and girls, let's see if we can finish this row on our own. Take a moment and take a look at this grid now and see if it matches yours. So boys and girls, for the rest of math period today, we're going to work on completing this number grid in the 100s. If you finish this part of the scroll, we're going to get you another piece of scroll paper and let you move into the 200s. This is really fun, boys and girls, because we're able to see how high you can count. Remember, as you do this work, you're going to have patterns on this page as well. Take your time, stop in and check and make sure that you still have some patterns so that we don't have to go back and do any fixes. Raise your hand if you get stuck. Good luck.